Hi guys, welcome to my art channel Sophie Art. Today I am unboxing a Scrawlrbox. If you don't know Scrawlrbox, it is a monthly art subscription box that I now order since around 1 year. I really enjoy Scrawlrbox so far. I am excited to see what's inside of this month's box. So, let's open it up. Ooh. I see some paint. Okay. So this card is for mixing or however you want to use it. Oh, a small canvas. How cute. Candy. Never seen this kind of candy before. A paintbrush from Scrawlrbox. A graphite pencil from Verwenden. Water mixable oil paint. I've never heard of this kind of paint before. Apparently in the color ultramarine and primary magenta. Oh, and another one in white. Ooh, and the colorful sticker. I love it when they are differently colored. Ooh, and there's this month's painting. It's from Katie Jobling. This month's prompt was abstract floral. Creating an abstract painting is something I love since I am very little. For me, feelings are very important while creating art. And when I paint an abstract artwork, feelings play an important role. I think it's because there are no straight lines that tell you what you should see exactly. This opens up new possibilities. And one of them is to explore what emotions you have while looking at the painting. Let me know in the comments what emotions you feel while looking at those artworks. About the painting itself, I got to say that I was inspired by hydrangeas. The colors just fitted so well. At first I created a very loose layer of blue that somewhat gave me an overview of what I wanted the painting to look like later on. Next I went in with a pink that I mixed earlier on and created the flowers. I decided to not paint specific petals though, because I didn't want the painting to look too similar to the one from Katie. I wish I had a black color so I could create a darker background. But since this color isn't there, I was not able to give the painting as much depth as I wanted to. But never mind, I like it anyways. I think after the first layer it already looked a bit like a flower painting, but I wanted it to be a little bit clearer. That's why I decided to go in with white and give the painting more structure. Actually, I read a few minutes later that Katie said you should go in with white as a last step, so I instinctively did the right thing, I guess. I think with abstract painting it's sometimes hard to know when to stop. For me, it helps to take a break and look at the painting from far away. This way you get a fresh view of your painting, and that helps you to decide if the artwork is finished or not. Sometimes looking at the canvas for a really long time makes your brain see the painting in a very detailed way, and you don't really look at the whole painting as itself. That's why sometimes paintings look really strange on a picture. I don't know if I stopped at the right time with this painting. It looked cool before I went in with the darker and the lighter tones, but it also looks cool to me the way it looks now. What do you think? The second painting was something spontaneous because I didn't want to waste the paper. So I just smeared around the colors I had already put on it and decided to look at it then and see what it inspires in me and what I want to create with it. I had a lot of trouble smearing the paint around because the paper was so thin, so I needed to hold it in some way. That's why I didn't paint to the edges, but I just cut the paper later on. I think the blue made the second painting way more interesting, because when I look at the way it looked like before I added it, only with the white and the red, it was beautiful, but it was not really telling a story, in my opinion. After I had painted my first layer, I started to add a little bit of blue to the corner on the bottom left side, because I think at the moment it looked like it had two sides. There was the blue part and the red part, and it didn't really blend in each other. After that, I decided to just play with the paint. I only used oil paint once before and I was not happy with my result then. But I think this is a new opportunity for me to learn how to work with them. And there comes again the problem of when to stop. I decided to stop when I thought, I had fun with it and it doesn't really look like flowers, but it has some cool effects and I like the story it tells now. I already did my Scrawlr challenge, so there was no need for it to look like flowers anyway. So that's the second painting. What do you think of it? Do you like the way it turned out? Moving on to the Scrawlrbox. If you don't know my Instagram, you probably don't know it, but I decided to paint the box where the Scrawlrbox supplies come in. It's something that helped me organize them because I didn't want to throw the boxes away. And I just think it's a fun thing to add some color around their logo. I think this is what art is about, to give something your personal touch. And since Scrawlrbox wants you to get creative, I think it's a cool idea. I wanted to leave some white at the Scrawlrbox this time. That's why I decided to make 3 circles and paint flowers in them. The letters gave me some trouble this time because it was hard for me to paint around them. It's just important for me that you can still see at least the Scrawlrbox letters. But it was hard for me to make it look like flowers around it and don't paint on top of the letters. This painting turned out a little bit dark at the beginning, which is why I added some white later on. Scrawlrbox kind of gave me a second chance with oil paints. The last time I created something with them, I was like, I will never create something with these paints again. But I think it was good that I did, because I learned a lot today. The reason I didn't like them the first time was that I was not prepared for the way they mix. The fact that they stay wet for so long allows the paint to mix for a longer time. That's why with my first painting I ended up with a giant blob of white greenish color, and that frustrated me quite a lot. I still like acrylic paint more, or watercolors. As you may know, I'm a huge fan of watercolors. But I think I found some things that I can create with oil paints now. And the fact that they are water mixable helps a lot for me. Because the fact that I need some extra chemicals for that made the chances for me painting with them again way lower. I think it's cool that they found a way to make the oil paints water mixable. I am really curious how they did that. I still don't know how much I will work with the oil paints in the future, because a huge factor is still how long they take to dry. Even 6 days later they are still really wet, which makes it hard to store them. And I'm kind of the person who paints like 10 paintings in a row when I'm in the flow of it, which makes it hard for me to store all of them when they all need to dry for such a long time. But maybe at some point in my life, when I gained a little bit more patience, I will go back to them. I think it's funny because some people say they are too impatient for watercolors, but that was never a problem for me. I mean, they still dry a lot faster than oil paints. And I think you can control the way they dry better. But still, I think it's a cool idea that Scrawlrbox included oil paints. Because in my opinion, for many young artists, oil paints sound really scary. And it was a way to start to get to know them. As you can see, the flowers look quite dark right now. That's why I decided to add some white, because it did not look like flowers to me at that point. It looked more like a bush or something like that. And early on we talked about different perspectives, and when I look at this painting now from the perspective of the camera, I can see that I have some paint left on the left flower that I didn't smear around quite as well as I would have liked to, but somehow I didn't notice while painting it, so it will haunt me now forever. No, jokes. But yeah, it's something I noticed. This is what I created for the July Scrawlrbox. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I wish you a lot of fun with your Scrawlrbox. Have a nice rest of your day. Bye!